Good morning, all of you. Thank you, ma'am, for such kind words. But in front of Dr. Kasturi, it's like Suraj ko diya dikhana, and ma'am is praising words about me. So, this is the last year's AIOC 2019 at Indore, when four of us had taken the same course, and it was so popular. We had the both sides of the hall full. You can see the only one side. The other side was also full. So this year it became an invited session on automatically. Dr. Preeti, she's here in the photograph. She could not join us this time. Can I have a pointer, please? She could not join us because of some personal reasons. Dr. Devraj Shom is just arriving in 5-7 minutes. I'll be taking up on Dr. Preeti's talk also. So I have two talks, starting with anatomy and then the Botox and facial aesthetics. So I'll be discussing relevant facial anatomy on cadaveric dissection, what to be beware of. Why the need to learn anatomy? For safe and efficacious injections so that we don't make mistakes, and to achieve consistent results every time, because once we know our anatomy well, we know what we are doing, and then we do the things right and we achieve the results consistently and we improve upon them. So there are a few videos I'll be taking you through, starting from the upper face. As we dissect off the skin and subcutaneous tissue, the most important structure here is the frontalis muscle. This is the only elevator of the brow, and usually it might fan in a V-shaped pattern from medial to lateral. In this specimen it is not like this, and can have two parts also instead of one whole structure. We must be beware of this danger zone. We can name it as danger zone 1. The supraorbital artery and the supratrochlear arteries come out of the supraorbital notch here, and retrograde injections of fillers can cause blindness. So we must always be clear about this. Supratrochlear arteries here, as you can see inside, has multiple deep branches. So when you inject fillers in the glabular area, do it superficially. Otherwise skin necrosis and vision loss can be one effect of it. Next, here we have the corrugator muscle, which starts from the bone. Either it goes vertically up or it lies here horizontally. It is deep. See here, this is the animated version of the corrugator muscle, and this is deep to the frontalis muscle. This is brow depressor. So its origin is here, and it either goes horizontally or vertically up. So when it contracts and pulls the things inwards and downwards. That's how it becomes brow depressor. So injections of neuromuscular agents should be deep initially, medially, and when you go superficially, they should be, when you go laterally, they should become superficial. When you inject here, the fillers, they should be in small amounts and in bolus, not in continuous fashion. So next, coming on to this supraorbital nerve here, it goes centrally onto the one side of the forehead. Injections of neuromuscular agents, the Botox when we give for frontalis muscle, it should not be very deep, and we should avoid this area. Otherwise, pain and neuroma formations are very common in this area. So this is the area where supraorbital vessel nerve goes. This is the temporal area, next important area to be discussed. It is bounded inferiorly by the root of the helix and the lateral canthus inferiorly, and superiorly at the fusion zone of the frontalis muscle and the temporalis muscle. As we take off the skin and subcutaneous tissue, we see this superficial temporoparietal fascia. Below this superficial temporoparietal fascia is the deep temporoparietal fascia and the temporalis muscle. The important thing to know here is that the superficial temporal artery, as it goes up, it gives a frontal branch here, which is around 1 finger breadth above the brow. So when you inject, obviously when you inject fillers, you always aspirate first. When you inject, don't inject in this area. This is the danger zone again. And the next important vessel below this superficial this is the vessel here. It is little high up in this specimen. This is the next important thing. This is the middle temporal vein. It retrograde goes into the jugular vein, and actually injected into this can also cause death. So this is one important area to be taken care of while injecting fillers and neuromuscular agents. So when you inject in temporal fascia, temporal area, inject between the skin and subcutaneous, this fold, this skin and subcutaneous tissue, and the superficial temporoparietal fascia. This is the safe zone because the middle temporal vein is below that, and the superficial temporal artery, the location we all know now. This is the safe zone between the skin and subcutaneous and the superficial temporal parietal fascia. Don't go near this. Coming on to the midface. In the midface, the facial artery and facial nerve lies deep here. As the facial nerve travels up, it bifurcates and gives the branches frontal nerve and temporal nerve, superficial temporal nerve. So be careful of, again it lies 1 finger breadth above the brow. Be careful when you are injecting in the temporal area. When we lift the skin and subcutaneous tissue, below this is this fat compartments which give the contour of the face. The fat compartments superficially are connected with the mimetic muscles of the face. The platysma in the neck, the smas in the cheek area or the midface, and the frontalis muscle above. Below that are the deep fat compartments. They are the superior, middle and inferior malar fat compartments. When you are giving injections, in females you usually inject at the zygomatic eminence and in males at the malar eminence. So when you are injecting, be careful of these infraorbital nerves and vessels. Especially in cases of males, when you are injecting here, don't go medially because of the infraorbital nerves and vessels which are present here. So if you want to fill up the theatre of deformity, inject laterally and massage the filler medially. That is more advisable. Next important thing here is the facial vein, which is deep. So when you inject here in the fat compartment, don't go very deep. Inject superficially. If you go deep, you might cause hematoma and injections into the vein. Next is the perioral area here. The perioral area lies below the superficial fat compartment. This is the superficial fat compartment. Below this is the important structures of the perioral area. As you dissect this off, there is this zygomaticus major muscle and zygomaticus minor muscle. Above this, we can see this. So when we are injecting for crow's feet and we inject here near the lateral orbital rim, the zygomaticus major muscle is here. If we inject here, we might cause droop of the angle of the mouth and difficulties in chewing of to the patient. So we should not inject in the zygomaticus major. This is elevator of the lip. Next important muscle to be remembered is DAO, depressor anguli oris, which depresses the angle of the mouth, and the relation of it is with depressor labii inferioris, which is here. So this depresses the lower lip. You must inject here when you are injecting for lips. Inject in this area, never go medially, inject laterally, because you don't want chewing difficulties in the patient. Next comes the masseter muscle. It is the most powerful muscle in the body, as we all know. Lies deep to the deep fat compartments here. To distinguish it well, ask the patient to clench and you can actually feel the muscle mass here. It is very deep as to show the needle will almost go for 1 centimeter in, and you inject then your neuromuscular agent for bruxism or masseter hypertrophy if you want to give Botox injections. So coming on to the vessels of the neck and face, the facial artery starts here, is deep, takes a tortuous course here near the angle of the mouth, is one thumb away from the angle of the mouth. Be cautious of this. Then it gives branches. The superior labial artery here goes to the superior lip, and the inferior labial artery goes here to the inferior lip. The superior labial artery here lies deep, and the inferior labial artery also lies deep to the DLI. As you see, depressor labii inferioris is above this artery. So when you do lip fillers, stay superficial. Don't go more than 3 millimeters. 2 to 3 millimeters is maximum where you want to inject. As the frontal artery goes, facial artery goes up, see this, the tortuous course. Around 1 finger breadth away from the ala of the nose, it becomes superficial. So when you're doing fillers for the nasolabial fold, you actually go down deep to the pyriform fossa, aspirate, touch the bone, and avoid the arteries here. As it goes up, gives branches, dorsal nasal artery and lateral nasal artery. This forms the danger zone again, because these are anastomosing with the columnar arteries and veins here. So beware, when it forms angular artery above, angular vessels above, you don't inject in the angular vessels above. In any case, the medial area is a danger zone because of inferior orbital vessels and angular veins. See the proximity of angular vein, and we all know, being DCR surgeons, that it is very prominent. Here it is deep in the around mid nose and becomes superficial at the radix of the nose. In nose, if you want to do fillers for correction, the middle zone, the center zone, if we divide nose into 3 parts, the upper part, upper 1/3, the middle 1/3 and the lower 1/3, the middle 1/3 is the safest to inject. And when you hold the nose and move it, there is this mass over where the skin and subcutaneous moves very freely. That is the zone where we want to inject. Radix also has anastomosis up, and below the dorsal nasal arteries have anastomosis with columnar vessels. So the middle third, where there is no anastomosis, is the area where you should inject. Usually the patients you will find have depression at the bone and cartilage junction, and you need to inject here only. So God has made things, easy for us, that you have to inject here, I will not give vessels here, as if he could see in future the facial aesthetics. So this is about the important points. Obviously, I can't teach all the origin and insertion of muscles and etc. But this is the points which we should be beware of when we are starting facial aesthetics practice.